Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you don't want to be notified, best thing to do is go to that bell right there and click on it because YouTube won't notify you when I come on live because that's usually what they do. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages on there as well. So, what do we got going on? So, it's a very slow news week. I literally, I think, have 6 items. Yeah, 6 items on here. So, it's a slow news week. Yeah. So we're just gonna hit these things and get it out of there right now. So they did just cast Sabine Wren, the live action Sabine Wren for the Ahsoka series on Disney Plus, and they've cast Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Sabine Wren. And she looks the part, obviously. I mean, she's looks quite a bit like Sabine Wren. Um, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't go with the voice actress who also kind of looks like Sabine Wren as well. Kind of, sort of. I mean, yeah, she hits the mark for the most part. And actually, I'm trying to find the voice actress now because I'm blanking on her name all of a sudden. Yeah, well, I know she was in the running. I know that she was actually testing for it as well, but I don't think she made it through. Well, of course, obviously she didn't make it. So yeah, I don't have her name, unfortunately. But yeah. Um, so we'll see how she does. I mean, they're looking for unknowns is really what they're doing now at this point to cast their stuff now. They being Disney, keep costs down, that kind of stuff. So yeah. The other thing that we got this week is we got a new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, and holy shit. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in that. There was the yes, Doctor Strange saying that we're getting visitors from all these different universes. So we got Green Goblin front and center shows up. We Sandman's there, Lizard's there, Electro with the Electro, the comic accurate Electro face mask, which I thought was interesting. Doc Ock, of course, and it looks like Doc Ock wants to work with this Peter Parker. Um, and Doctor Strange in this trailer basically says that all these villains have died and need to die in order for those Spider-Men to live. And of course, our Peter Parker here in this one does not want to kill them off and is looking for a way to let them all live. So that's probably going to have implications for the rest of the Marvel universe or the MCU, which I'm guessing is the reason why there's so many reshoots going on for Doctor Strange 2 right now. So now that I know they probably did a little bit of a tweak on Spider-Man No Way Home. Uh, that's kind of how Marvel has been running with some of their stuff. Is you have Loki that happens, which of course releases the multiverse, as you will. You have Spider-Man No Way Home, which kind of expands on that. Well, you have What If, which expands on it because that actually affects the MCU as well. Then you have Spider-Man No Way Home, which expands on it even more greatly, which means by the time you get to Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, they probably had to switch some things up here and there. So yeah, and we know that Michael Keaton is there as the Vulture. So we've got the Vulture, Sandman, Electro, Doc Ock, um, Green Goblin, the Lizard, which is number 6. So you got your Sinister Six right there. Oh, excuse me. So, yeah, you got your Sinister Six right there. This is gonna be very interesting. I'm looking forward to this movie. This is probably the movie I'm looking forward to most that's coming out fairly soon. The rest of the movies that have come out recently, I'm just like, okay, whatever. I mean, The Eternals was the first one I saw in the theaters in a long time and was fairly disappointed by it. And also reaffirm my theory that you really don't need to go into theaters to watch movies anymore. I mean, as long as you have a big screen TV, surround system at home, all that kind of stuff, movie theaters are great if you really are, need to be around that many people and annoying you during the movie. So I don't. I rather watch the movie. So looks like a lot of fun, and like I said, looking forward to this one quite a bit. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, Delroy Lindo has been cast in a new Blade movie. This is the movie with Mahershala Mahershala Ali. I have to actually think. I know how his name is spelled, and it's in my mind, so I actually can say it correctly. So Mahershala Ali is playing Blade, of course, and Delroy Lindo has just been cast in an unknown role. We don't know who he's going to be playing. I'm hoping they're not going to do the thing where they just cast him as Whistler, because you really don't need to. You can make another character or put him in. I mean, there's so many different fucking Marvel characters to choose from in Blade. You can actually do it. What would be cool is if he was Dracula. I would see Delroy Lindo as Dracula. That would be fucking awesome, quite honestly. To have him be a villain. He always plays a good guy. So I mean, has he ever played really a bad guy? I'm trying to think in movies. I don't think he has. I mean, he just played Bass Reeves in The Harder They Fall, which is you can't get any more good guy than that. you know. But yeah, I like Delroy Lindo. Some good stuff. Um, Sergio Aragones Gru the Wanderer has been optioned as an animated series, and it's going to eventually be sold to a yet unnamed streaming service. So there's some guy who made money off of Bitcoin who decided that he was going to make Gru the Wanderer into an animated series and then try and sell it to some streaming service. So good for him that he made that much money on Bitcoin where he can actually start going out there and doing new properties, of stuff. That was an idea that, if I had that kind of money, sure, I would probably do the same thing. Try and get some obscure property or some property that I liked, kind of like the stainless steel rat, which is someplace up here, and see if we can get that into production and not as an animated series. I try and get that done as a TV series because that's what it deserves to be, is a TV series on that one. If you don't know what the stainless steel rat is, it's a book by Harry Harrison, a series by Harry Harrison. Harry Harrison, of course, being the great sci-fi writer who did the book Make Room, which of course was turned into Soylent Green. The movie Soylent Green with Charlton Heston, which was kind of dumbed down. It dumbed down the book quite a bit because they didn't want to offend any conservatives out there and all that stuff, because it was actually supposed to be the counterpoint to abortion. That's what it was. It was written about the time of Roe v. Wade. So that was the reason why that was the whole basis of that book, actually, which is kind of interesting if you go back and take a look at it. So, and of course, Harry Harrison's done so many other books too, and is no longer with us, of course, because otherwise I think he'd be over 100 years old now. No, actually, I take that back. He would still be in his probably 90s, somewhere around there. A new book. No, actually, I'm gonna go with this one first. So, no, actually, I'll go with that one first. So, a new book came out. It was kind of an investigative book into HBO and its practices and things like that. And one of the things in the book itself, and the book's called The Box, if I remember correctly here. Uh, Sorry, I'm just opening up my article that I have here. Tinderbox. There we go. Tinderbox. So yeah, it's big revelations and HBO and all this stuff. And one of the things that came out in it was that Lovecraft Country, of course, we heard that uh, it got shit canned because there was not a defined second season, which of course is bullshit. Or there was other stuff that they used as excuses, that kind of stuff. And the real reason is what he says in the book was because of the toxic set environment that Misha Green had promoted on that set of that series. So much so that they were like, we can't go on anymore. And that's the reason why they canceled it, supposedly. Which is kind of weird because Smuley Jolette, of course, who was in Lovecraft Country, is doing the Black Canary solo movie with Misha Green still for HBO Max. So that just kind of is a weird thing. If that was actually the truth, why is she still working with this person? Yeah. What's in the tinderbox? Uh, you know, just a head. That's all. It's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. And some vagina candles. Hmm. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting that that was the reason why they canceled it. I mean, not surprising, but there have been worse productions that have had much more. And I'm sure the real reason for it wasn't just because of that. You know, you have an all black cast. Uh, you do the math on that one, is all I'm going to say. So the final thing I've got for you guys is Dark Horse Comics will be making Star Wars comics again. So Dark Horse Comics has been making Star Wars comics since the 90s. And then around 2012, I believe it was, when Lucas sold off to Disney, they had to stop. And now they're going to be making Star Wars comics again, but they're only going to be making all ages comics. The regular Star Wars comics are actually going to be done by Marvel. So Marvel has been doing their own stories and stuff like that. Like there's a Darth Vader run that's out there and stuff like that. So those are going to continue off there, but these are just going to be all ages comics. So of course, more appealing to the kids and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. I mean, you need that stuff too for comics. And honestly, some of that stuff is actually kind of fun. It really is. So that's all I got for you guys news wise. I mean, started watching Cowboy Bebop, which the live action one, which I'll be talking about on Tuesday. I still need to finish off the 2 episodes tonight before tonight for Wheel of Time. So episodes 2 and 3, I haven't done that yet. But yeah, other than that, Raymond said I didn't know Dark Horse was still around. Yes, kids still read comics these days, Raymond. Their parents buy them for them and say, "Here, read what I read when I was a kid." They look up from their video games and like, "What? What's that?" And yes, Dark Horse Comics is still around. They are the ones that are behind Umbrella Academy, which of course is on Netflix. What else? They've got a few things that have been on Netflix. They actually have a deal with Netflix, and I can't remember offhand what it is. I want to say Polar was one of them, which was another HBO movie, which is great. A great movie with Mads Mikkelsen. I believe that's a Dark Horse a run as well. It's based off the graphic novel that they had. What else? There's been a few things here and there on Netflix. They just don't blare their name on it. They have it in the credits as it's opening. But yeah, they are very they're alive and kicking, and they're actually doing really well, honestly. Dark Horse Comics. They're one of the smarter comic book publishers out there that have retained their money. They're not hurting for money, and they're expanding. I kind of wish 2000 AD, who does the Judge Dredd stuff, would follow suit as Dark Horse Comics like that, just so they can expand stuff out into films and TV shows and stuff like that. I know they've been working forever on a Cursed Earth series, or not Cursed Earth, excuse me, Mega City One, which is supposed to be set in the Judge Dredd universe. And Carl Urban, actually, or Urban, Carl Urban is wanting to be on board with this as well, because he wants to be Dredd again. Because of course he is the best Dredd. He's just getting too old now if they keep waiting this long. I mean, shit, the last Dredd movie was almost 10 years ago now, somewhere around there. So, and it's a good movie. It's a good fucking movie. If you haven't watched Dredd, go and watch it. Don't watch the Stallone one. Watch the one with Carl Urban in it. So, yeah. And yes, I know people are going to go, well, it's just The Raid. Not really. The Raid actually took it from them because they were in the production at the same time. It's just The Raid ended up getting out a lot faster. But yeah. My birthday's tomorrow too, so that's the reason why I'm taking tomorrow off. If Ford could own Indiana at his age, Carl could do. Dread is something different, though. Dread is a comic book. Indiana Jones is a pulp movie series. So I mean, you can set Indiana Jones at different ages, which is fine. Dread is not an old man. Dread is always at a peak. He is always a certain stature, if you will. You can't have an 80-year-old Judge Dredd. Just doesn't work. Which, by the way, that's what Ford is. Ford is 80 years old. So, yeah, you can't have an 80-year-old Judge fucking Dredd. Just doesn't work. Drop me, creep, or I'll gum you to death. Philipidemic says, didn't a comic book company just get licensed to put out new Star Wars stuff? Not that I know of. I mean, Dark Horse is the only one that's just got their new they got their license renewed. I mean, in 2014 was where they or is it 2016 now? I can't remember offhand. Let me see where it was. I've got the link here, so I can tell you exactly, because it's officially from the StarWars.com. Yeah, so from 1991 to 2020. Okay. That's where they kind of left off there. They were doing little things here and there from the time that Lucas sold off to when this new announcement came off in 2020. And 2020 is where they stopped. So yeah, it says Marvel Comics will continue publishing its line of critically acclaimed Star Wars comics alongside Dark Horse Comics. So that is where they're at on that. Not really, Raymond. I'm just going out to dinner. That's it. Nothing big. But thank you. Yeah. So like I said, it's a very, very, very slow news week. It's right before Thanksgiving, so everyone's winding down. I don't expect next week to have any news whatsoever because it's Thanksgiving week. Yes, I know that Comic-Con special edition is happening next weekend, but quite honestly, if you follow, so I follow their Twitter and then also on Facebook to see what they've got going on. There's really nothing happening there. I mean, Dark Horse actually is going to show up as one of the vendors, which I was surprised that Dark Horse was showing up there. But then again, they're actually kind of one of the cool comic book companies. Yes, Hawkeye does come out next week. Yes, on Wednesday of next week. So I'll be covering that. Next week I'm off from work too, so I'm going to be probably covering things a little bit earlier, except for probably Monday. Monday I probably won't, but you'll take a look at the schedule and you'll see what it is. So I'm not doing anything on Thanksgiving, stream wise, just because everyone's going to be eating. No one's going to be watching some dude sitting in front of a whole bunch of geek shit talking about geek stuff. Yeah. You guys are going to be putting up Christmas lights and Christmas trees and whatnot, because that's what people do, I guess, after Thanksgiving. Or usually, if you're like me, you pass out in front of the TV. Thanks, Pen. Yeah, you eat your turkey and then you get the tryptophan overdose and you pass out in front of the TV. It's only for the freshly cooked turkey, by the way. Tryptophan, I'm telling you, man, tryptophan is no joke. It does knock you out in a good way, though. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys, unless you guys got something else you guys want to talk about. So yeah, I knew this is going to be a slow day on this one. Raymond says I'm old school. I have the parade on all day, then Charlie Brown. Okay, that's right. CBM, you guys had your Thanksgiving in October. I know. I know. I know. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So the local universities, of course, when they close and stuff like that, you have international students, and so with COVID and everything, there's certain restrictions going on, of course. So if you travel to international countries, Canada being one of them, then there are certain rules that need to happen when those kids come back to school and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's just it's crazy. That's all I can say. And I know that there's some Canadians that were talking about, yeah, my Thanksgiving was last month, so they're just staying put instead of having to deal with all the restrictions of coming back, that kind of stuff. Yes, Philip Ademic. I've been talking about Hitmonkey for quite a while, as a matter of fact. It's a spin-off of the Deadpool comics, if that gives you any indication, Philip. And I will be talking about that on I don't know when I'm gonna be talking about that, but I will be talking about that as well. Pence has accidentally read a review on Ghostbusters Afterlife. It wasn't good. Oh. Yeah, I've heard hit and miss on that one without going into specifics. I didn't hear any specifics on it. I just heard some people really like it, some people really hate it, and yeah. And there's some people in between that are like, meh, it just doesn't matter. So yes, Philip. Also, Hitmonkey is one of the last two, I believe, last two Jeff Loeb productions from Marvel Television that are left on Hulu. The other one being Modoc. And Modoc sucks balls. Okay, Modoc just is horrible. Don't watch it. Don't bring yourself to do it. Hitmonkey, of course, like I said, is from it spins off from the Deadpool comics. So it's that kind of insanity if that's what you're looking for. That's all right, Stanley. Penn says supposedly Reitman says the biggest Easter egg hunt of all time. The writer felt that was a really bad thing. Okay. Yeah, some people don't like Easter eggs. Some people live for Easter eggs, and there's other people like me who just really don't care. It's they're there, and it's like okay, it's kind of cool, but do you have a story behind it too? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a plot, and there's nothing worse than a movie in search of a plot. Yeah, or a TV show in search of a plot. Titans, you know what I'm talking about. Uh, Philip A. Demick says Hellbound just showed up in my stream. That looks good. Anything about that? I have no idea what Hellbound is. Yeah. I don't think so, Raymond. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I honestly I don't really have any desire to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. I can wait the what is it, 42 days till it comes to HBO Max. So it's not really it's not one of those things that I am interested in seeing. Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home, on the other hand, yes, I will go and brave the theater for that one because they're forcing me to. I'm not jazzed about it, quite honestly, because that means I have to go to a fucking theater again, but still. Raymond K. Hessel says, I wasn't here when you spoke Superman. Did you mention who you think is the six? I actually counted them all down, Raymond. So you have Doc Ock, you have Electro, you have Sandman, Green Goblin, the Lizard, and the Vulture, because Keaton is the Vulture. So, and we know he's in it. He just confirmed as much as well over the weekend, or actually yesterday, I should say. So yeah, it's all there. And I think you meant when I was talking about Spider-Man, right? Not Superman, because Superman's a different thing. I mean, Henry Cavill was actually talking about the multiple Superman projects that are going on, including the one that Michael B. Jordan's working on, the Val Zod Superman, and that he's going to be starring in as well. And he's actually really excited to see that. And he's kind of like, cheering them on, which is kind of cool, you know, considering that he's probably not going to play Superman ever again because of Warner Brothers and all that bullshit. So, which is a bad, it's kind of a sad thing. Henry Cavill was actually a really good Superman. He just was stuck in some really shitty scripts. He really was. Hey, Commander. Seems like someone punched Lizard in the construction scene. Yes, there's supposedly an invisible punching thing going on as well, and people are speculating who that is. That's what ends up happening. My guess is it's one of the other Spider-Men. It's either Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Miles Morales. And if it's Miles Morales, he could be invisible at that point too. Exactly, Penn released shitty scripts. Actually, The Matrix did release The Matrix Resurrection. Or is that what it's called now? Yeah, Resurrection. Released a new poster. The poster looks good. It's just it's one of those things. I'm like, I'm glad it's been out on HBO Max because that means I don't have to go to the theater to go and see it. Because I wasn't going to go to the theater and go and see it. I was going to wait till it came out on HBO Max. Yeah. I've been burned by the Wachowskis so many times now that I refuse to see their movies in the theaters, unless it gets like insanely good word of mouth. And that hasn't happened in a while. The Commander's Corner says, I'm thinking another Spider-Man. Who's the Spider-Man with the Infinity Stone? I don't know. I have no idea. Philip says Hellbound looks like a Netflix Korean Shinigami series like Death Note or Bleach. Okay. Yeah, Hulu's starting to put some stuff out. Like, what's her name? Chloe, the girl from Hit Girl. I can never remember her name. She's in a movie called Mother/Android, where she's supposed to be pregnant and trying to survive the android uprising while she's pregnant. And this is something I remember. I briefly remember talking about this during one of the Saturday morning blast offs. I want to say like back in April that they were, that she had been cast in this and that they were going to be doing this. but it's going directly to Hulu. Yes, Commander. I am going to be covering Cowboy Bebop in a Is It Worth My Time on Tuesday. I'm already up to episode 5 right now. So, and I have my thesis, shall we say, on this already as to what it reminds me of. Yes, Raymond. I actually rewatched it again. It's on Netflix. So the Cowboy Bebop anime, I vaguely remember watching it, back in the 90s. What was it, 98, 2000, somewhere around there. And I remember watching that. I want to say it was on Adult Swim, is where I was watching it. And so that was, of course, in the reruns. So that would be early 2000s. And then I just rewatched it again. I've been rewatching it again on Netflix. Yeah. But I don't want to wait to find out if I should watch it. Well, watch the first episode, Stanley, or Penn, excuse me, and see what you think of it. That's all you need to do. Stanley says at least that's what I read as the synopsis. Okay. Okay, then yeah, so back when Adult Swim first started, way back in the dark ages, I had the CD actually for the music that I remember when they had Tom sorry, got a phone call happening there. So I remember Tom the robot that was, Toonami. He was actually introducing Adult Swim at one point in the very, 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 very beginning. And then they split him off to do they did Adult Swim was on its own, and then Toonami did its own thing. And yeah, and so they actually had some really good music that happened with the Adult Swim stuff. So I actually got the CD for it, and it was kind of cool. Yes, the CD for it. Yes, Chloe Grace Moritz. Thank you. That's who I was talking about. Just kidding. Kind of seriously, Penn. Watch the first episode. See what you think of it. I mean, I'll say this much: they are kind of redoing a little bit of the. If you've never watched the series, or if you have watched the series, they are redoing some of the episodes as live action, and they're changing them just a little bit here and there. But that's all I'm going to say until I get to Tuesday. Oh yeah, Cowboy Bebop. I mean, anything you do that you go to live action from animation or video game or anything like that, you have the hardcore fans that are just going to go, "Well, that's not the way I see it," and it never lives up to their expectation. Instead of them watching it as something new and saying, "Hey, this is it good or bad based on its own merits." And I've been able now from doing this actually, I think so often that I can just say, "Hey, I can compare it to the original, but I can also divorce myself of that original and go, okay, how does this stand on its own merits?" And I sit there and watch it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's this, and this that may work or may not work, or this is better than the original, and or vice versa. So, and that's what a lot of people don't have. They want the same fucking thing that they saw before and more of it. Penn said, I never watched the anime. I plan on checking out the live action. So yeah, like I said, watch the first episode. It's an hour. What is it? 40 some odd minutes long. So Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I don't know. There's and like I said, I'll get into it on Tuesday. Raymond says for me, their legacy is making jazz music cool again. Yeah, the guy who did the music for the original Cowboy Bebop is doing the music again for the live action series, which is really kind of cool. And so I somehow got caught up in finally catching up on the Arrowverse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you did that. It happens though. Stanley said, I really like Arcane, by the way, but I hate the music in it. Some of the music's okay. They actually vary the music here and there, but Arcane, the animation's good. The story could be better. But yeah, it's one of those things I was pretty much on the fence about on that one. I probably won't be on the fence of on Cowboy Bebop. Let's just say that when we come out, when that comes out on Tuesday. It's pretty straightforward pen for the most part. They don't explain one of the major things in the very beginning, but that's about it for Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, it's something that's actually explained in the anime a lot better than the first 4 episodes, I believe, that I've watched so far, where there's no mention whatsoever. Well, there is, yeah, there is no mention of it. So, all right. I'm gonna let you guys go for the rest of the day because I've still got to go and watch the other 2 episodes of Wheel of Time and get caught up on that before I got other stuff I'm doing too. So we will do it there. So I will see you. So what's going on today? That's what I should say. What am I doing for the rest of this week? So tonight at 6 o'clock and at 7 o'clock, it's going to be episodes 2 and 3 of Wheel of Time. Tomorrow I'm gonna be off Sunday. Monday will be another episode of Spoiler Alert where we can talk about anything spoilerish that has been out. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around it will be Cowboy Bebop, the live action version. Wednesday will be Hawkeye. Hawkeye is going to be on Wednesday, and I'll probably also sneak in another Is It Worth My Time? Because I believe Hawkeye is going to be in the middle of the day, somewhere around there is when I'm going to do it. And I believe I'm going to do Is It Worth My Time Wednesday night, and I'm going to do Hit Monkey from Hulu. So there you go. Thursday, I'll be off, of course, because it's Thanksgiving. Friday will be the 4th episode of Wheel of Time, and then we roll back around again to Saturday with Saturday Morning Blast Off, or take the genre news of the week. Any genre stuff you guys want to talk about, we talk about it. Are there any shows, movies you would enjoy with a different name? What do you mean, like replacing one of the words with sausage or something like that, or like Star Sausage, or Sausage Trek or something like that? Not really. I mean, everything is, again, like I said, now how I look at things is based on their merit, how they work things out. If they can do the show properly, if they can write it properly, direct it properly, acting even, the acting in it, all that kind of stuff, it all needs to come together. And that's why you have showrunners and directors and things like that. So, a show just called Guacamole? No. Well, it depends on what it is. Well, yeah, Star Sausage is that's something else entirely. Um, and on that note, Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithm of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast free library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified at all when I come on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 100% chance that YouTube won't notify you when I come on. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule that's up there, change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well. Is it about hipsters eating toast? Guacamole? No, that would be called toast. Guacamole is actually about a group of gun smugglers who end up in the avocado fields of Southern California, and hilarity ensues from there. It's a comedy. So, all right. With that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the rest of the day until later on this evening. I will see you again at 6 p.m. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may wind up in a series of about gun smuggling, and it ends up in a guacamole field and or an avocado field out in Southern California someplace. And you really don't want to be in that movie. That movie's going to be pretty sucky, even though it is a comedy. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again at 6 p.m. tonight. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well. Wear those masks and take care out there. Stay safe. I will see you again later on this evening. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. See ya.